Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's Harry from Hasper TV back with another match review video. As you can tell, I've almost lost my voice. So let's get into the game. Spurs 3, Chelsea 4. Where do we begin? So Van der Ven and Romero were rushed back into the team today, kind of as like a last-ditch desperate resort from Ange, I think, to kind of save his job, really. I know there's been no confirmation after the game whether Ange has lost his job yet. I do still expect it to happen, whether it's now, next week, but just before Christmas. I think Ange's time is limited at this club. And yeah, the Chelsea game kind of showed, like last season when we lost 4-1, except we had 9 men that game, which probably why we lost by more, especially with considering the high line as well. But today showed like a desperate attempt for Ange to kind of prove a point, really, and he kind of backfired on him with the Van der Ven and Romero thing, because Romero, as we know, was coming back from injury, and my voice isn't very good, as you can tell, and it was clear he was rushed back. Van der Ven was the most even bigger surprise, especially the amount of running he has to do. He was clearly rushed back, clearly wasn't fit, and yeah, we kind of suffered the consequences of it. Because Van der Ven and Romero later in the game actually came off. Van der Ven was in the first half. Romero was in the first half. Van der Ven was the second half. But let's get into the game first. So Spurs took the lead through Solanke in the first 5 minutes, which, it was great to think we should be excited. We're 1-0 up. Then the next goal came from Kulusevski, who probably was one of our better players today again, along with maybe Sar gave away the penalty, but he clearly was one of the best of the worst. But yeah, so Spurs actually were 2-0 up, and then they let Sancho pretty much walk through the team and score a goal. It kind of reminded me a lot of the Ipswich game, where we just let Ipswich pass around us. They do a bloody bicycle kick and they score. Well, look what happened now. So let Sancho run through us. He went through, I think, I counted 3 to 5 players, if we're going to count the last 2 who didn't even really make that much of an attempt to win the ball back. Made it 2-1. Second half, Chelsea get a penalty, 2-2. Then, of course, Chelsea are in the ascendancy now because they got the second goal. Third one goes in. Enzo, who probably was one of Chelsea's best players today. Again, no reaction from my man on the touchline. And then they get another one for another penalty, which was a Sar mistake. Basuma gave away the first one. I know he's getting knocked flack online for it, and it was a diabolical tackle to make a give away a penalty like that. That was ridiculous. But Bissouma also was involved earlier in that phase where he gave the ball away before they pulled the ball across, and then he gave away the penalty later on. But with the Enzo thing, again, the goal was coming, and obviously they got the other penalty 4-2. The game was done. I know someone got a goal at the end, but for me it was too late. It was literally like 2 minutes left after that, and game was done. And 4-3, which kind of flattered Spurs, if I'm being honest. I think we probably deserved to lose by more. Chelsea were clearly the better side, better pressing, better organisation. And considering Enzo's only been there for what? Is it 3 months? I think 3 months. I think they hit way better than we did on Ange's first 3 months anyway. But even now, they look way better than us. And you look at Slot, Liverpool, the 2 newest managers in the league are top 2. Which is quite interesting, actually. So this whole Ange give it time thing is kind of a bit of a stupid argument at this point. But again, because these are Ange's players, he brings on Maddison with 10 minutes left. Bergwall came on as well, and so did Archie Gray, because obviously Romero and Van der Ven had to come off, so we ended up with Gray and Dragoos in defence. And yeah, the Van der Ven Romero risk was just a desperate attempt, and it backfired, because I guess he wanted to say to everyone, look, with our best players, we can play the high line and it could work, and it backfired on him massively. And I think he should look really stupid right now. But apparently he told everyone we played really well. So this guy is just so out of his depth. Ange Out Now. The guy needs to go, bro. I can't watch this guy anymore. I cannot watch this manager anymore. Stand on the touchline with his hands in his pockets or his arms folded, do nothing. Gets the 3-2. He still doesn't make a change. I mean, Maddison, we're crying out for Maddison to come on. I even brought Lancashire on. Flip and go 4-4-2, do something different. But no, he stands there, does nothing. No reaction, no proactivity either. When the momentum was clearly changing in the beginning of the second half, like a Brighton, instead of learning from his mistakes, he let it just play out. And it's just like, as for the players, Bissouma, again, flash in the pan player. I've been saying this for a long time. Proved again today why he was clearly a bit of a weak link. I know Sarr gave away the penalty. Again, he's probably been one of my most improved players, but the bar is so low that, yeah, what can you say? And Johnson, despite his assist, was anonymous again. I kind of felt sorry for Solanke up front because, again, he doesn't get any sort of supply. Sonny, I know he scored his goal, but again, he can't play on the left wing anymore. The guy's done out here, bro. Like, he missed a massive chance later on in the game. I know he scored his tap in later on, which I think most of us probably would have scored because of how open he was. But which made my Maddison, which makes you think, why did Maddison come on earlier? Because Maddison Son's link up was probably the only positivity of us last season in the first 10 games, in my opinion. But anyway, so he missed an absolute. It was like almost an open goal, and he skied it completely wide. I was like, oh my god, it just proves that he's not the same player. And Werner came on the right hand side because of situations, isn't it? And he was really poor. He was so poor. He was so poor. He tried to play a ball later in the game to find Sonny or whoever was up front, Solanke. But yeah, I do kind of feel sorry for Solanke a bit. I don't think he's the best striker in the world. I don't think he's the worst striker in the world. He's like a bang average striker. Maybe I was a bit harsh with him comparing to Darren Bent. But if we look at goals wise, it seems quite similar right now. But he took his goal well. He worked really hard. But again, it was just him in the press. And you look at Chelsea's pressing, you look at Tottenham's pressing. And again, I go over the fact that Chelsea manager's only been here for a few months. Chelsea's pressing was a lot more aggressive, organised, way better than what we're seeing with Tottenham. Tottenham, who've had the same manager for almost 18 months. Still, the pressing is worse, which is kind of crazy to think about. And also just Chelsea wanted it more. The complacency when we went 2-0 up was clear to see again. And I do wonder what Ange told them at half-time, because it doesn't seem like him making much of a difference lately. But yeah, Ange out. He has to go. I can't watch this football anymore.